It's August. What's happening?
Close to the end, but still August at least. Anybody have any questions while we're, instead of just jabberjaw up here, anybody want to say anything or curse at us? Or the jabberjaw? The jabberwock? Anybody, anything? Anybody want to say hi? Yes.
I have a question I think everybody would be interested in. There was a rumor coming out of the con in Germany that you have signed an extension for your contracts that if the show is going to be picked up, they have an option on you. Can you tell us if that's true and for how many years?
Did everybody hear that? Yeah. She was asking if we had an extension, signed an extension for our contract.
Because usually contracts
where if the show gets picked up, then we will. Well, I'll basically tell you, we have, our contract is for, I think, 7 years now. We added, we did add.
Short answer is yes. We agreed to it.
We added 1 year, so they have us.
So if y'all guys promise to bring us back,
then... but then after, I guess, yeah, with this year and then 1 more, so 7, and then I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah, right now we know 7. And this was a big, I think it was risky, it was a big shakeup, because as we've talked about for so long, Eric really had a 5-season goal. And I think it first started out like he just wanted to get past season 1. And he wanted to get past the merger between WB and UPN, and he wanted to get to season 3, then he wanted to get to 4, we'd go to reruns and like actually have a show that lasts beyond its shooting days. And then he made it to 5 and was like, I'm out of ideas, like somebody help. So luckily we have Sarah Gamble, who's a brilliant mind, a great writer, and passionate about the show and characters. Was anybody at Comic-Con with us? Was anybody down south? Yes, of course. Yeah, so we kind of talked about it there, for those who might have seen it on the internet or something. But we sort of had to do a big shakeup this year, and so we obviously agreed we want to come back, and they asked us for another year, and we were like, yeah, of course, sure. Hopefully,
pay us more money.
Bring us back. And so we're back. It's still in the hands of somebody else, somebody's else.
And that's not guaranteeing that we're going to go 7 seasons. It's just if it does go, they still have us.
We, as always, need y'all guys' help, so, and we appreciate it greatly, because, as we said, you know, y'all have really, it's one thing, I had this discussion yesterday with some of the Japanese reporters, and I was like, we weren't here in America, or here in America, where we are,
North America,
the Americas, well, in the USA at least, we didn't have, like, Grey's Anatomy viewers, where it's like, 20 million viewers, like, I dare you to cancel us. Like, we were right there on the bubble, and I think they go to the intangible aspects of the show and the fanship, and that's where y'all really are responsible for the show. So, thanks, guys. Thank you.
How are we doing on time, Steph? 4 minutes. Not 5 minutes, not 3 minutes. We have 4 minutes. We were around during the Winter Olympics. We were filming, and it was. I didn't have one. I don't know. I didn't have an afternoon off, much less a day off to go see anything. I do remember. I live just over the Granville Bridge in one of the high rises that looks back towards downtown, and every night I'd come home, and I'm like, 7-8 stories up, so I can see all of downtown and the mountains and stuff. And there'd be like big fireworks shows every night from downtown. It was the Olympics. It'd be like light shows and fireworks shows, and I'd come home and it'd be like, oh, it's so pretty. I wish I could stay up, but I gotta go to bed. So that was about the extent of my enjoyment of the Winter Olympics. But we actually, everybody got really into it. It
was a great feeling in the city for those who.
It was really cool. It was cool. A lot of the crew members were able to, because they're not on camera every single day, they're able to take a day off and go to an event. So a lot of them got to do that. And that was cool for them. And,
another one of the problems, I think, with the reason that we weren't able to see more is because of the fact that it was the Winter Olympics. All the hotels had been booked up here for months and months and months. Like people are already booking Sachi or whatever it's called, 2014. And so there was not a room to stay in Vancouver. And so that having been said, as a show that's based in Los Angeles, usually our directors and most of our guest cast comes from LA, and so they knew that they weren't going to be able to send up actors because they would have been like standing on the streets like, well, don't know what to do. So they wrote really Sam and Dean heavy episodes. So we were here shooting. I think Smallville took the 2 weeks off and stuff like that. But I did sneak out to one event. I got to see figure skating actually. I got to see couples figure skating, which is really cool. I was with my wife, so it was it was actually I was so happy afterwards that that's what I saw because it was one of the preliminary rounds, I guess, and I think there were 19 teams doing their short routine, which I guess is 3 or 4 minutes long. But so many different countries were represented, and so you're obviously rooting for the country where you come from, or generally. But it was one of those strange occurrences where I'm rooting extra hard for the U.S. But then everybody, I think it was the Chinese team that was supposed to win, that was favored to win, they fell like 30 seconds into their 4-minute routine. And so you feel the whole crowd kind of go like, oh, that's terrible. And then everybody, people that are wearing Canadian jerseys, people that are wearing Australian hats and carrying Swedish flags, everybody starts rooting so much for the Chinese team to get back. And it's just like, hey, we don't want you to fail. We want everybody to show their best. We want to win, but we don't want to win because something bad happened to you. We want to win because we tried harder. So it was a really cool feeling to everybody. It really felt universal, and I guess it's the first time I've ever been in a city at the same time as the Olympics.
This is the most you've ever talked about figure skating.
That I'd like to admit, yes. Yeah. But I mean, like, I wish it would rather be football than hockey. Pick my nose.
It was, and obviously, for those who were paying attention, the hockey. That was quite the tournament. And for it to, I don't think it could have been written any better than the way it was.
They did
it was, hockey is such, for those of you who are not Canadian, hockey is, it's like in these people's blood. Like they live, breathe, eat, and will die for hockey. It's on their currency.
It is.
And so
there'll be 5 hockeys, please.
So when the gold medal match comes down to U.S. and Canada, and our entire crew is all Canadian guys, and everybody's wearing their jerseys and their hats, and it's like red and white all over the place, and I just remember thinking, I'm like, I'd love U.S. to win, but it'll be a horrible week at work.
It would still be a horrible week.
It really would. And when we tied that goal to send it into like overtime, I was just like, oh no.
And they actually did a poll before the game. They did it on like TSN, which is the ESPN, the sports network here in Canada. And they did a poll. I saw the results of it. It was before the hockey match, but it was a poll of, I think, all of Canada, all the Canadians in Canada. And it was like, if you could win either the gold medal, or if the Canadian team could win either the gold medal in hockey or every other gold medal in the Olympics, which would you rather have? And I think like 70% of the country voted for the gold in hockey. I was like, we don't need another medal at all. Just give us like a hockey. So I was really happy for.
Although I do have to say, and being from Texas, like I didn't even know what hockey was until I was 18 years old. I'm like, hokey? What is it?
What you call me?
It's hockey up here is to, Canadian people like football is to growing up in Texas. And so it was kind of funny because, I'm now very aware of hockey, but I'm still not like an uber fan of hockey. I watch it and I'm aware of it because by default, basically, being up here.
All the guys are watching on their like little screens as they're pushing the dolly and like operating camera.
But one of my favorite moments during the Olympics was, I don't know if you guys watched Stephen Colbert, and they were talking about the hockey game and the fact that the U.S. beat Canada in one of the preliminary rounds, and he mentioned that on his show, and all the U.S. audience was applauding, and he goes, I know, I too temporarily care. Because hockey's not a big thing in the States. It's not, unless like the 5 states of the north, like the Dakotas and Minnesota.
Yeah, we have a Dakota, Minnesota person.
Yeah, Yeah, which I think our entire U.S. hockey team was comprised of people from only 5 states.
Right, yeah. And they were all
Which was hilarious. But anyway, it was quite the excitement for Canada. And I'm glad they got the gold medal as well. All right, I think we're out of here.
So excited to see y'all again. Can't wait to see you and talk and chat later. Thanks for coming.
Give it up for Jensen Ackles and Jared Padalecki. Got a busy day. We'll see you.